morning. My name is Anita Earls. For 30 years, I've been a civil rights attorney doing voting rights work, mostly in the South. And the centrality of fixing our democracy has always been there in the civil rights movement. From the freedom schools that taught people how to pass literacy tests, to the March on the Edmund Pettus Bridge, it's always been about making the political process open for everyone. Fast forward to 2011 in North Carolina, when the legislature passed districts that packed black voters, created more majority black districts than ever before, the NAACP stood up and said, no, this is a distortion of our democracy. This is not what we wanted. And after 5 years of litigation, a federal court threw out those districts as racially gerrymandered districts. Unfortunately, they've been replaced with partisan gerrymandered districts. And again, the voters across North Carolina understand that partisan gerrymandered districts do not serve our democracy. During the redistricting process that Kathy just described for the congressional districts, when the legislators said we intend to create a partisan advantage, there was a small window of time for public comment, something like 24 hours. During that window of time, over 4,500 people submitted written comments. And these, I read them all. These were thoughtful comments from Republicans, from Democrats, from independents, and everyone had the same message: make our districts fair. We want a level playing field. Don't distort our democracy. So I say to you that there are thousands and thousands of people, like all of you here today, who care about having a fair process in our democracy. And when I have just recently, I'm one of those uncommon candidates, and the first time running for office, I've decided to run for the North Carolina Supreme Court. Thank you. And when I'm on the campaign trail and I talk about the distortions that gerrymandering creates in our democracy, I've been asked, well, come on, really, you're a Democrat. As long as they made the districts favor Democrats, wouldn't you be okay with that? And my answer, honestly, is no. We don't need a rigged system. We can win. All we're saying is give us a fair chance. That's what we want. So we know that our democracy in North Carolina and elsewhere is broken when gerrymandering is unfettered, when money matters more than voters, when election administration is controlled by partisan actors who are willing to manipulate the process for partisan gain, when legislators are willing to pass laws to make it harder to vote, and nationally, when millennials polled and some 25 to 30% of them don't believe that democracy is important, we know that our democracy is broken and we have a long road ahead of us to make it work again. But what I bring to that is this perspective. I'm a mixed-race woman growing up in a family. My father was black, my mother was white. And crossing that racial divide was essential to our survival as a family, essential to my survival. And I think equally now, bridging the divide that we have in our country to come together and fix our democracy is essential to our survival. So what can I say to you about how we do that? I think it takes conversations, it takes sincere listening to each other, it takes being committed to working wherever you are and wherever you can, whether that's on the local level, on the state level, wherever you have networks. I believe that coming together and doing those things, we can bridge those divides and we can make a difference. So I enlist you and I thank you for being here today and for being willing to engage in that work. Thank you.